Hello, everyone, and welcome to Earp Sister Feels. This is episode number 17. My name is Kevin Batchelder, and on this video, I'm going to be covering the Wynonna Earp Season 2 finale, Season 2, Episode 12, I Hope You Dance. Welcome back, everyone. For those of you that have been viewing along with me as we've been going through, great to have you back. And for any of you that are new, special welcome. For all of you, everyone is invited to share their comments to make them part of my final video. You do not need to be a regular. You can jump in at any time, even if you're brand new or someone who's been watching all along and not sent a comment. Please take the time. As you'll notice down below, for the first about 48 hours after I release these, there's a button that says record a reply. You don't need a special app. You just tap that button and you can record a video, play it back, make sure you're comfortable with it, and then save it and send it to me. And then after a couple of days, I take some of the comments and my video, put them together, and put the final version up on YouTube so folks can enjoy it there. So I love the community aspect of doing this. So please, don't hesitate to jump in. Love to have your thoughts, even if you haven't sent them in before. No problem there. Now, I'm reminding folks, if you are someone who is coming to Earp Expo in June in New Orleans, we've discussed, I think, at least a couple times before that there is going to be scheduled to be an Earp Sisters panel with Mel and Dom that I'm very honored and excited and nervous to be moderating. And since I'll be wearing one of my Earp Sisters shirts, and I know many of you will be as well, we're going to plan to do a group photo shoot. A quick photo, nothing fancy, nothing professional, just us fans, probably right after that panel. So if you're interested in being involved in that, I have set up a DM list on Twitter for folks so we can, talk about plans once the schedules get released and such. So if you're interested, reach out by any of the methods that we list, Twitter, Facebook, comment here on YouTube, whatever it might be, and I can get you on that list. It's growing quickly, actually. We're going to, pretty soon get beyond the 50-person limit in a Twitter DM thread. So I might have to set up a separate thread or maybe move this to the Earp Expo app or something. I'm not sure where, but yeah, things have, in a great way exploded in terms of how many of you are interested. So if you are, feel free, let me know, and we'll get you on there. Excuse me. All right, well, let's talk about the episode scenes from the finale here for the Earp Sister stuff. At the very beginning, we have a beautiful one. Many of you know this, and we've talked about it from the photos and the GIFs and the other stuff that's out there. But that first scene of the episode, when we have both of the girls basically confronting the widows and Bobo, and to the point when Bobo, hurls that boulder at him, and Wynonna ends up on the ground, and we see the shot looking down at her, and Waverly comes over, and the two of them hugging there in the grass. Oh, man, talk about the emotions. Because this, from a story point of view, is shortly after what happened at the hospital and how disappointed Wynonna was and how upset Waverly was that she had to give up the seal. And, excuse me, in typical sibling fashion, Wynonna wants to be upset at her, but she can't. I mean, there's so much bigger stuff going on, and that's, you don't sweat the small stuff, really. That's what it comes down to. So it's so beautiful, the two of them together and the exchange they have. Love that scene. Gets very emotional when I rewatch it. And it's, one of those classics for Earp Sister stuff. We do get a couple of other scenes, fairly quick ones, where they're together along with several of the other characters when everyone's kind of realized they're not dead and what kind of happened. And Wynonna basically telling everyone, Dolls and Nicole and Jeremy, just don't die kind of thing as we figure this out. Talking about a plan when they have the plate and what they're going to do. Some quick stuff there. We then get a really good scene as Waverly and Wynonna go to Greta's with the plate to tell her they need her help. They want to basically make a missile, and after what she did with the spell, they want her to help. So that's a good one there. And then as they're waiting for her to do her work, the exchange they have where Waverly again starts to talk about that I screwed up, that I'm not DNA test says I'm not an Earp, and Wynonna's having none of it. Okay, that doesn't matter. I love how definitive and quick she is. You're an Earp. You're my sister. We're not even going to go there in the sense. And it's not so much because we've got this bigger thing to deal with, while it is part of it. It's more of that's not what determines what's important. And I just love that. That's one of those ones that gets me to well up and just, that's the way to do it. And I love that one. It's a really good one. We then have one of the major storylines playing out there as the two of them are going into town, and they have to confront Widow Mercedes, who's now become, Galadriel Mercedes, or whatever we call her, all in white. And the great scene when Doc and Wynonna basically are going to square off and start talking about, not giving baby as currency and the baby to be evil, and getting all of us as viewers like, oh my God, what are they going to do, including Waverly, because, you know, Widow Beth has her. And then that great scene of splitting the bullet. I mean, that is one of those ones for me, and I talk about it in certain shows, maybe mainly Buffy and Wynonna Earp, where when that happens, man, I just jump off the couch, you know, fist pump in the air, because that is just so cool with what they did with the splitting of the bullet. But I also think it is so true to the characters that while everyone's kind of like, yay, we did it, you know, Waverly comes over and slaps Doc, because, I mean, she really didn't know if he was going to kill her and what was going to go on. I'm not sure he knew or Wynonna knew, which is, you know, another reason why we love this show, that they can literally come up with stuff like this. So that was, you know, really good. Very true to the characters. But the big stuff is coming. It is the scene in Shorty's when Wynonna's going to have the baby, and Waverly is there, and ends up just Waverly and Rosita. And then we have it all play out. Okay, keep it together, Kev. Keep it together. You know, I call it betrayal by Rosita. You know, I've since softened a little bit on that in terms of what she had to do to protect herself and all. But, you know, her knocking out Waverly and threatening to take, you know, the baby and what she's going to do with it. And then the emotion of what's going on there with Wynonna in the middle of having a baby and trying to talk sense into Rosita. And then Waverly waking up and grabbing Peacemaker and trying to shoot her and can't, you know, and you know, that made sense at the time. But then Wynonna getting emotional and basically telling Waverly that, yes, she's an Earp, and basically having to talk Peacemaker into working for her, and all of the emotion of that. Wow. Again, aside from the mythos part of the story and Peacemaker and who can shoot it, the emotion of Wynonna doing that, and Waverly having to believe that she's an Earp even if she's not, and Wynonna talking Peacemaker into being able to shoot for her. You know, part of why it can't really kill Rosita, but it does shake her and does, you know, graze her. That's just beautiful. I mean, that's the bond between them, I think, that had to make that work. And then to have, you know, Rosita have to take off, and, you know, Wynonna having the baby, and Waverly being there for her, and, you know, all that happens there. You know, the scene speaks for itself. The acting, the emotion, what it means to us, what it means to the characters. So beautifully done by Dom and Mel. Hopefully you've seen the behind-the-scenes video that was posted as part of the, you know, the digital subscriptions, iTunes and so forth. You know, of how emotional that was for all of them, and just so beautiful. And you know, with Waverly walking out the door and telling her that, you know, you're the best of us. No, you're, you know, I mean, God, if you don't break down there, I don't know why you're watching this video. That is just so beautiful. And so fitting. I mean, there's so much other great stuff there towards the end of the episode. It's not Earp Sister stuff, but it's a couple of boxes of Kleenex with Wynonna and Doc, and Nicole and Waverly when she can cross the line, and, you know, Nicole telling Waverly that what it means is you're extraordinary. I mean, this is why this show means so much to so many of us. So beautiful stuff, beautiful stuff. And we still got all season 3 to come. So hopefully you folks have enjoyed this. I look forward to hearing some thoughts. Hey, if you're not a video person, please share them on Twitter, reply, and share some thoughts on what you think. I love hearing, because everybody that does send in videos too gets so many different perspectives that I don't bring up, that makes this so much richer for me. So I love those as well, for all of you that take the time to do those. But we're cranking right along here now. At this point, we've just got season 3 to cover before Earp Expo in a few weeks. I got to pick up the pace, get some things done. That's okay. I love a challenge. But we'll keep having fun through all of the 12 episodes of season 3. So thank you very much, folks, for tuning in, and I hope you all take care of yourselves.
Hey guys, see how this goes. First video response to Hi Watson, to an Earp Sister Feels episode. And Kevin, super cool you're doing this. I really appreciate it as someone who's got a lot of siblings, and being an older sister of 6 kids. Super fun. But my favorite, I think, parts about this whole episode are just the elements of sibling relationships, particularly with sisters, that they bring and manage to convey throughout this whole show, but especially in this episode where it's kind of contrasted between episode 2:10, where, you know, Waverly can't make eye contact, and like you can just kind of sense the physical separation between the two, and how that now coming back to episode 12 is just completely gone, right up to the point where most notably where in that first moment where they're both laying on the grass and Wynonna like reaches out and is like, come here, and just that effort at kind of like extending that that arm of like reconciliation and just like a welcoming, like understanding sisterly thing of like, we both know what happened and I'm open, like my arms are back open, like come on back. And Wynonna doing that, and then Waverly actually making the motion to turn over like into her. And that's something that I've experienced with my sisters as well. And it's, I think one of my favorite things about this show is that they managed to capture those little nuanced moments where it's so poignant and it's such a real thing that happens when stuff goes down in your life with your family, and you have to be willing to be the person who's like, well, you know, this sucks, but like this is what we've got and we're who we've got, and we're gonna hang on to that. So like, I will if you will too, kind of a thing. Yeah, so I think that's my huge takeaway from this episode. And like right up to like the end of the episode where Wynonna is trusting someone who's previously sort of like not gone against, but like where she's giving someone her child who this person previously didn't believe that she could do something she said she would do, and she's still extending this trust to her sister because she knows that she can trust this person even with the things that have happened leading up to this point. So I don't know, I just think that's pretty special that they managed to capture that in a sci-fi show, and it's what's going to keep coming. It's going to keep me coming back to watch this, and I think it challenges me as a sister as well to look at how I'm interacting with my family and my siblings, my sisters, and the people around me, and just how can one little thing that I do or say, like, how can that convey my love and affection to someone that I truly do care about. So I think those are all the thoughts I have. See what you guys think. Bye.
Hi, Earper Jessica here. I'm going to provide my comments on Season 2, Episode 12 for the Earp Sisters. I love, in the finale we get a lot of Earp Sister scenes, and Waverly and Wynonna's relationship is the heart of the show, and the writers, show us that, and that no matter how chaotic everything is, they always bring it back to these two. The scene when they're laying in the grass, I love how it's filmed, so powerfully vulnerable. And then kind of on the flip side of that, Wynonna's nonchalantly talking to Waverly about Bobo. It's just such a real and genuine interaction between them. And then remembering back a couple episodes ago, Wynonna's so mad at what she did, and the next scene outside the homestead, Waverly's talking about how she's really messed things up, and Wynonna says, flush it out, no more guilt, no more secrets. I think it's showing that Wynonna's trying to forgive Waverly, and that it now it doesn't matter, we have to get everything out so we can be as prepared as they can to go on and fight the bad guys. And then in the kitchen, Waverly's reassuring Wynonna that she's not letting her out of sight, and this just shows how much growth that their relationship has gone through since the beginning of the series. Wynonna's known all along how strong Waverly is, but now she's like letting her show it. In the beginning, Wynonna would shield Waverly from physical danger. Now she's letting her fight by her side. Again, just I love that real progression of their relationship, and because before Wynonna coming back, they haven't really been together for some years. And then I love, Wynonna and Nicole's little interaction, and Waverly's like, what happened to fleshing out secrets in true little sister fashion. She's spitting her older sister's words right back at her. Me being a little sister, I've gone through that, where I'm not old enough to do something. So I, appreciate seeing that. Then, they go to Greta's. I got a total Buffy Dawn vibe from this in the beginning of the scene. There's a shot where Waverly and Wynonna are standing side by side looking at Greta, just like, Buffy and Dawn did so many times. Waverly's obviously older, more mature than Dawn, but yeah, I got that vibe. Then Greta leaves and Waverly starts to apologize, and Wynonna, tells it like it is, and Waverly continues to talk about Nicole and, the fact that she has a wife, and, then she continues to talk about the DNA test, and you can see Wynonna begin to choke up as Waverly says, "I'm not an Earp," and Wynonna immediately says, like, "Hell, you're not." The look that Waverly gives Wynonna right before Greta comes back in says it all. She's shared this huge news. She's gotten it off her chest. And to hear Wynonna say that, these tests don't matter, you're my sister and a part of this family, you can see that joy and relief, come over Waverly. Some other things happen, in between there, but then we get to the heart of this episode, and that's, Wynonna having her baby. Her and Waverly are talking about the plan for the baby and the fact that, Wynonna's kind of suspected for a while now that she might not be an Earp. And she's, telling Waverly about how she didn't want to break her heart by telling her sooner, and that, there's a real possibility that Waverly might not be able to leave the Ghost River Triangle. And that after all that, she's still is like, you're still you. Who gives a crap who your father is? And I just have to add, Mel and Dom's performances, in everything, but especially this scene is so incredible. Dom, when Waverly picks up the Peacemaker, you can see her shaking as she's pointing at Rosita, and, Wynonna telling Waverly that she's the best of us and demanding that Peacemaker work. I love how, and it's probably, what I love best about this episode is I love how that Wynonna's pregnancy was filmed with just them, just the sisters. Their relationship, again, I said at the beginning, is truly the heart of the show, and the scene when Wynonna's holding her baby is a perfect example of this. These two have gone through so much in their life, and them being able to share this new life just between them, I just thought it was really powerful. In the end, Waverly says, "You're wrong, Wynonna. You're the best of us." And I also love that they brought Gus back into it, with Gus being able to be the one that takes care of Alice when they can't at the moment, because family is the most important thing. It doesn't matter if it's blood family or your found chosen family. It's the most important thing, and that's so important, and it's just another reason why this show is special and this show is so amazing. So those are my thoughts. Bye.
Hi guys, Terry Ann here. I'm going to talk about the season 2 finale, and I have a lot of thoughts about this episode, so I'll try to keep it as short as I can. In that first Earp Sister scene that we have, I love how even though Wynonna is clearly pissed as all hell, and is hurt and betrayed by Waverly, giving up the third seal, when she goes to the field where Waverly is facing off against Bobo and the Widows, she puts all of that aside to stand with her sister and come to her defense. And they have a unified front because in that moment, they know that despite all of the hurt feelings and the mistrust, that deep down they're always going to have each other's backs no matter what. And this is followed by one of my all-time favorite Earp sister interactions, where they're laying together in the field and there's both an apology and an acceptance without them actually having to say those words. And it's just such a beautiful moment. Waverly is clearly remorseful about betraying Wynonna, but she's so cute when she tries to make up for it by saying that she tried to, they had to blow up a barn to try to bring Wynonna back. And even though Wynonna is upset, she kind of describes her feelings in a humorous way with the whole stuffing the grass down her pants. And she kind of does it to soften the edge. And then she just she tells her sister to come in for a hug. And it's that classic sibling moment where something major has happened between them that could have, really damaged the relationship. But there's so much love underneath it all that they have for each other. That the apology goes unspoken and it's kind of implicitly implied and understood that, hey, that was a really crappy thing that you did that hurt me, but I know that you're sorry and I'm willing to let it go for now. And they are choosing their battles and when to fight them, and this isn't the time for that fight. And they choose to make up first and then have the difficult conversation after. And I also love that when they do finally talk about how they're feeling, that they get really honest with each other. And Wynonna essentially tells Waverly how disappointed she was. And that shows real growth because it's showing how they're able to get really honest and raw about how they're feeling with each other. And it's showing that they're trusting the other person to be strong enough and capable enough to handle their true feelings and criticisms, and also trusting that it's a safe space to say what they need to say and have it be received without defensiveness. And this also shows a lot of growth from Waverly because she lets Wynonna say her piece and she doesn't invalidate her or try to shift the blame. And Waverly basically is taking responsibility for her actions and, the mistake that she made. And then by Waverly doing that, it actually lets Wynonna be able to kind of soften up and come to Waverly's defense and saying, at least she did it for someone that she loves, and how she has eyes and she can see that Nicole loves Waverly. And when Waverly tells Wynonna that she's not her sister and she isn't an Earp, Melanie does such an amazing job of acting that scene. And acting that moment where she finds out that information from Waverly. And Melanie, she takes a deep breath and she just kind of slightly shakes her head in denial. And it's such a small but a powerful moment where everything is basically crashing down all around them. But she, as Wynonna, just takes a moment to ground herself and say, no, I don't accept this. I don't accept this outcome. And even though all of the odds are against us, I'm choosing this team succeeding together. And I love that scene and I love that moment. And lastly, we have that Earp sister scene in Shorties where Wynonna is giving birth. And it was just an amazing scene. I don't even really have words to really describe how I felt about it, but just everything about it was great. From Waverly trying to protect Wynonna, to Wynonna giving Waverly the pep talk and letting her know that yes, she is her sister and she is an Earp no matter what. It makes you feel all of the things, and so much is on the line in that moment, and the sisters come through for each other. And even when logically none of that should have worked, because Waverly isn't biologically an Earp and she's not the heir, but this is such a great moment that's showing that their bond is literally magic and they can make the impossible happen. And it's just wonderful to see. But yeah, I'm going to stop there because I think I gave, enough of my thoughts for that. And I'd love to see and hear other people's comments as well if that ends up happening. But overall, it was just a fantastic episode full of Earp Sister Feels. And I had a great time watching it. All right. See you guys.